Hi everyone, welcome to the Coffee Run Live, episode 532. Hope you are all sensational. Welcome to Thursday. Now, I had a question come through by messages actually, and I thought that I would there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about on this. So the lady that asked this question through Messenger has been a client of mine, been through a training of mine, not at all unfamiliar with who this particular person is. So it was really interesting because I was sitting doing some study yesterday. She sent me this message just going, oh my God, like I've got a question. Do you take requests for the coffee run? I've got this question, blah, 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 blah. And then I've gone, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. And then she's gone, oh my God, I am so sorry. I've just asked you to give away your genius for free. I'm really sorry, please forgive me. And I've gone, oh, no, please, it's fine. So I thought that I would talk into a couple of things with this. Number one, answering her question, but also number two, where do you draw the line with accessibility, with sharing your knowledge, your thoughts, your genius, and that kind of stuff? So what I know is that a lot of people get worried that they're going to give away the farm for free and that people won't buy. Now, there is always going to be people in your world, online and offline, who will want to try and suck your brain dry, and they're kind of like, they're a bit like, I kind of think about them like energy vampires or knowledge vampires, right? They'll just ask and ask and ask and ask, and it can get to a point where it's, to me, kind of disrespectful, kind of rude, and it puts you or me it can put us in a really awkward position where it's like, well, for fuck's sake, there's a point here where you're kind of pushing the boundary or pushing the friendship. Now that's not what this particular lady had done, by the way, not at all. So a lot of people get worried, well, if I go and give them all of this information, is it going to suck me dry? Is it going to will they never buy from me? Am I giving too much? My general rule of thumb and advice to you is that you can't give away too much of your knowledge for free, right? It's actually not humanly possible. Now, the reason for that is that not everybody will even listen, read, implement, take on what you're saying until they spend with you anyway. Some people are just not the right fit, so they won't buy, and things like that. So to give you a bit of an idea, the rule of thumb that I used to work with when I was in corporate banking was I knew that if I had 10 people that I saw every week, 10 new people that I saw every week, 3 of those people would actually draw down on the loan that they'd applied for and had approved. So 7 people would apply for a loan and 3 people would access the money. Now, the 4 people who didn't may have had their loan declined. Maybe they were just looking for a pre-approval and, were waiting on finding the right property or the renovation or whatever. So I knew that if I had 10 people that I saw, 3 people would follow through. Now, that doesn't mean that I've wasted my time with those 7 other people, right? And this is the trick, I guess, or the trip that a lot of people make is like, well, I give my stuff away for free and they're never going to fucking buy. It's not necessarily true. I had a lot of people out of those 7 people that would not buy or not come back or not take out their money, would come back in 12 months time or 6 months time or sometimes 3 years time and say, oh, look, this thing fell through, or we ended up going with this other person and it was a really shitty experience and, we should have just gone with you in the first place, whatever the case might be. So you can't screw this up. Right? So you can't give enough of your knowledge, your information, yourself for free. Just keep showing up and keep giving. But what this woman had asked, she said, oh, so, how do you keep your vibe high? Hello, I'm only just about to start answering it. So how are you, Una? So one of the things that I guess comes up is that particularly when we're sort of like high energy, high frequency focused humans, is that when we're in our spaces alone, we can be super productive. We can have like everything set and nice and whatever. And I'll have my incense burning or sage the house or like whatever, like meditative, whatever it is that I've done to, you know, get myself into the same or into a productive state, then the kids might come home. And, you know, my family life is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Most of the time, the kids are pretty good, but they're children, right? And we're humans, and we don't always have we're not always as, what's that word? Resourceful. We're not always as resourceful as we might like to be. So there are times where the kids will go nuts, and I'm just like, for fuck's sake, you guys, you know, and it can really mess with whatever it is that I'm doing, my train of thought, my vibe, my energy, whatever. So my go-to, if I might say to them, look, you know, that's enough now. Have a conversation with them. My kids are a bit older, so my youngest is 12, and then 14, and then 19. So the conversations, I guess, that we generally would have are things around, you know, how do you think this is impacting? Do you think it's impacting? Maybe we can find a better way to have this conversation. Sometimes I just get really pissed off. The things that piss me off, I'll tell you, actually, there was a real life scenario yesterday. So I'd been studying, and I was excited and, you know, learning all this stuff. It's really cool. I'm going to be a doctor in 4 years. I'm not a doctor of medicine, but another doctor. It is of medicine, just not a general practitioner. But the thing was that my husband had come home from work, and he was on the phone. He didn't say hello, except barked at me because his dinner was ready too early. And like, this is a very obscure scenario. He normally cooks and stuff like this, right? So just, you know, I'm not bagging him out like as a constant thing. He's not normally quite so demanding. So I got home at 5:30. I'd been starving, and he's like, "Oh, I got dinner's ready. It's a bit early, don't you think?" You know, rah, rah. He didn't really bark, but it was like this passing comment, and then he's gone off into his office, got on his phone, and proceeded to ignore me for like half an hour. I was fucking furious. So this is abnormal, right? So this is not normally how we are. And he said to me, like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Well, you freaking come in and you've ignored me," and blah, 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 blah. So then I've gone, right, well, this is my choice, right? And this is really what it comes down to when we're thinking about the impact that other people have on our energy and on our state and how we are. We are, each and every single one of us, completely 100% responsible for how we think, how we feel, what our vibration is doing, you know, how we are, what our frequency is. We are responsible wholly and solely for that ourselves, right? Nobody else can make us feel any way in particular at all. Right? So, you know, any other day, like I was a bit tired yesterday, any other day the same thing might have happened and nothing might have, you know, wouldn't have triggered me or whatever else. So, you know, we've got to come back to taking, I think, and this is an ongoing thing, and it's always interesting to have moments like yesterday that are really abnormal, to be honest. It's like, wow, okay, well, I really am 100% responsible for how I feel. I bet pick up, you know, pull your socks up, Nicola, and stop being a fucking asshole. And, you know, and to myself, right? Because like nobody else is, I can't make anybody else feel anything, right? It's only how I'm feeling in this moment. So take 100% responsibility for yourself, and then teach the other people around you that they can also take 100% responsibility for themselves and for how they are, how they interact, how they converse, how they react, and how they are with everybody else. You know, and I think I really wish that I had learned this lesson as a kid, you know, and this is what we're teaching our children. It's that, you know, nobody can make you feel anything. It's just how you feel and how you are and how you react and how you interpret certain events. You know, somebody else could have been in the room and seen that event in a completely different light and not be activated, triggered, or messed up by it at all. Not that I was messed up, I'm exaggerating. Do you guys get what I mean? So 100% responsibility. There is a lot to be said for it. I wish I'd learned this earlier on in my marriage, because it would have, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't have. We nearly divorced going back like 2014, 2015. Things were really shitty. and we were at the point of divorcing, and it was actually this same lesson that came up, which was, I'm 100% responsible for how I am, how I feel, how I interact, how I approach different things. And it's one of the things that I think actually almost diffuses any sense of like anger, resentment, pissed offness, low vibe, all those low frequency things. If you guys are familiar with the frequencies, David R. Hawkins talks about it in Power versus Force, but also the different frequencies in which we can, oscillate, vibrate at. And you've got all of these lower end ones being like anger, shame, blame, all of that kind of stuff. They're really low, sludgy, heavy frequencies and emotions. So what you want to do is try and get as quickly as you can and as easily as you can get up to being more above the line with the way that you feel. And one of the things that you can do is taking 100% responsibility, finding something that you're grateful for, and shifting, really changing your state. Right? So shake it out, dance, laugh, whatever, go in the mirror and laugh and, pull silly faces or get your kids involved. Like that's always a good thing. They're always up for a laugh. So I trust that helps you. You're not always going to be high vibe. It's just not how we are wired. We have these sense of like fluid motions as we move throughout the day. Your job is to try and flick that up and try and raise that vibration, raise that frequency as much as you can, because it has positive flow-on effects in every way. Your body will work better. Your emotions will be a bit more tempered. You'll feel better. You'll be more creative. You've got more access to more ideas. You're more connected to source. You've got all of that sort of stuff that has this positive flow, and you'll be happier. Everything flows, right? We're energetic beings, right? So everything starts to flow when you take responsibility and you clear out a lot of this stuff, and you're going to feel much better for it. So there you go. I trust that helps, and I hope that helps. Have a very fabulous day, my friends. If there's anything that you want answered, you are very, very welcome, please, to message me and ask any questions. I would love to answer them for you. Meanwhile, you know what you need to do. Get out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it, and remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesome. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow we are launching my very new program, which is going to be completely insanely amazing. I can't wait to share that with you tomorrow. I'll see you right here at 11.